Yes. What is the pleasure of
Your
the
Honor,
counsel?
may
First
we
one?
move to strike out the responses of the witness to those questions, as he's not competent and qualified to answer, especially since he is not pointing to any provision of the JC as to his opinion on whether confidential o hindi ang mga pangalan ng mga drugstores, ang mga pangalan ng mga sari-sari stores, Your Honors. I think that is beyond his competence, Your Honor, as an auditor.
If I may respond.
Unless, Your Honor, he can point to a specific provision in the joint circular.
Your Honor,
Counsel
please.
for the panel for prosecutors, Attorney Kapunan may respond. Before the
Your
chair
Honor,
makes a ruling.
please, Your Honor. First of all, they're asked and answered. Counsel should have timely objected when being asked. 3 times he was asked. Secondly, Your Honor, I don't think it is accurate to say that this has no basis, because earlier, pinaghirapan po namin pakita yung mga particular provisions ng Joint Circular 2015 para i-point out ano-ano ang mga pwedeng gamitan ng confidential funds at ano-ano ang pwedeng paggamit or bawal na paggamit ng confidential funds. And this witness, Your Honor, based on the circular, did say that whatever activity that is must be related to the physical and financial plans submitted by the Office of the Vice President and or the DepEd. For instance, tables and chairs, what particular surveillance activity or operation or terrorist surveillance are tables and chairs and desktops and medicines and supplies related to? The payment of rewards, Your Honor. Again, this witness cited the particular provision of the joint circular that says the payment of reward should not stop there. It should point, Your Honor, according to the joint circular, it should point to particular documents that would show or point to that activity by which the rewards were deserved, Your Honor. So
Chair
it's
will make a
very clear
ruling.
in the circular, Your Honor.
Chair will make a ruling. Asked and answered is correctly pointed out by counsel for the panel of prosecutors. Aside from that, the witness is competent to testify as to how he evaluated the submissions and the response letters given by the Office of the Vice President in relation to the AOMC issued that were all based on JMC number 15-01.
Your Honor, I will not be asking for reconsideration, and I will submit to the ruling of the court. I just want to make it of record that when we say asked and answered, Your Honors, I gave leeway to the opposing counsel to ask the question because I did not think the question was objectionable. But it is the answer that I'm asking to be stricken out based on the competence of the witness, because there is no provision under the JC that says ano yung sari-sari store ay hindi confidential. But again, Your Honor, I just wanted to put that on the record, but I will abide by the ruling of the Honorable Presiding
Duly
Officer,
noted,
Your Honor.
counsel for the respondent, and you may note a continuing objection should the counsel for the panel of prosecutors continue with this line of questioning. Attorney
Thank you,
Kapunan,
Your
you may
Honor.
proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this juncture, Your Honor, may we manifest for the record that in accordance with our request for stipulation, we had presented for stipulation to counsel for the respondent 845 acknowledgement receipts, Your Honor, that would show recipients of the various amounts mentioned in relation to disbursement of confidential funds, their names, what they were spent for, and the dates of receipts, Your Honor. Sadly, counsel for the respondent has refused, despite this being common exhibits for the prosecution and defense, Your Honor, counsel has refused to stipulate. May I repeat that now? We are not stipulating as to the contents, which will be properly identified in part, because we will not present all 845, Your Honor, documents. But may we know from counsel if he
What does
will
counsel for respondent say?
attest to its existence, and that these were documents they themselves, Your Honor, submitted to the COA-certified by way of their liquidation. These are their very own documents by way of liquidation to the confidential funds, which were allotted and spent by the Office of the Vice President and the DepEd. But for the meantime, for the Office of the Vice President, Your Honor, these
Attorney po?
very same documents are what they submitted to the COA-certified, Your Honor.
Attorney po?
Your Honor, I beg the indulgence of the Honorable Court as well as the distinguished opposing counsel, but we really cannot stipulate on these matters precisely because the insinuation that this was the very documents that the OVP and DepEd submitted to COA is very much in question, Your Honors, because we can easily raise the issue on chain of custody. I'm not saying we will, but that is always on the table. And precisely, Your Honors, although they are labeled as common exhibits, we marked them separately, Your Honor. We did not have markings on the same documents, Your Honor. And that is our position. But again, I beg the indulgence and the patience, Your Honor, of the distinguished opposing counsel and the Honorable Court.
Can I just,
Counsel,
my last manifestation, Your Honor, anent this acknowledgement receipts, Your Honor. You will note from the acknowledgement receipts that these are certified true copies. Certified true copies of receipts submitted to the COA-certified, Your Honor. They are not documents from the prosecution. They are documents which this witness, by way of subpoena, duces tecum, and testificandum, produced before this court, Your Honor. So the provenance, the source of these documents, and there is a certification issued by his office, show that there should be no doubt as to where these documents came from. As to their existence, Your Honor, there should be no doubt.